Morning. Brief video for I can never remember your second name, but you're a farmer and you were in Europe and you were in charge of understanding everything about the world, etc. I'll never, I'll need to get that name and write it down in my hand so that I don't forget it. But I'm like the absent-minded professor. Folk think I'm daft. The absent-minded professor, he lifted up his tie for a pee. So my children say that when I was born, they took gullible and trusting, all these things, they took them straight out of the dictionary. And my granny said that I was sapsy. But that's not the only thing that she said. She said, that one's worth the watching, that one. That one, she doesn't even know her own strength. I'll tell you something else. She says, she's not even afraid to face up to old Nick himself. And apparently nowadays when you point your finger at somebody, but where on earth did they get that one from? Point your finger at. But it's not that, that's how my granny did it. And I don't know if it was arthritis or what it was that I was looking at, because it was always sort of crooked. She'd say, mark my words about that man. Mark my words. That's the kind of society that we come from. And I noticed, I've been reading everything. And reading about then you get frustration when you're thinking about China, etc. And I did post things regarding China, and I mentioned China this morning. Basically because everybody in the world, they do things because of fear. We are born into a veil of tears, and it's just like the poem about the stillborn child. And it was translated into Lallans. And let's say anally spears, everybody wants to know, they don't understand why a child would be stillborn. And what he says is anally spears, but nobody kens. And into God's horn. And that's the way that life is, and that life is a veil of tears. But I think the gift of having faith is that we are carefree. We don't need to worry about anything. And I think it was a Jamaican nurse that I was working with in America that eventually, she knew what it was like for me, etc. And she said to me, don't worry about tomorrow because God's got it all planned for you. But having studied character, etc., and tried to apply myself to things that were improving my character in different ways, I've tried really hard, but that was always difficult for me to understand things, But I do understand more as the years go on about myself and my relationship with God. He tells me. And I like the poem that His Majesty shared with all of us about the darkness that, and that, you stretch your hand out into the darkness, and there you will find the strength that you need to get through. And that was so wonderful. And so was he. My goodness, all the difficulties that he had. And he gave his life. He gave his life for this country. Very, very, very sad. Even today. So, anyway, I just thought I would do this wee video for you to sort of explain to you about China, right? So it's just let me know about the battery running low. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move into the kitchen and plug it back in again. Meantime, back at the ranch, I'll let you keep getting a good look at the old woman. No. Oh, there, look there, yeah. I just bought that. Well, I've not paid for it all yet. There we are. And that's better. And just give a wee blow to the nose. And then we're away again. So I was saying China, and just wanted to clarify matters, and let me just put that back a wee bit. That's better, that's a lot better, and I can rest here. So, as I say, we've got to deal with the world, regardless of what the hell's going on, and nobody understands why people don't value life. So we'll keep that to the side, because we do, and we value getting on, and we're all human, fallible. There's none of us going to be any gods, and everything clever about us is God's foolishness. I learnt that from my mother. That's it. She learnt it from her mother, and then her mother before her. So as long as everybody knows that, then we can get on with life. So anyway, doing business. China have got a great problem, and that problem is smoking. And of course they don't pay the peasants enough, and we've got all these troubles. But as I was saying, if you're going to be doing business, well, are you going to go and chap the door and say, "Excuse me, but do you think that that's against the rules of life?" And well, I'm afraid it's not any of your business, really, not really, unless it's glaring, unless they're going to let you in. Well, that would be a different story entirely. But hopefully you're not going in individually. You'll be going in as United Nations. And it would be going in without any arms or whatever. Not in a huge bunch. A small group that represent the world. And they are ambassadors just to listen. And they want to talk to whoever it is, etc. And that way that handles the political bit. Now the agriculture. We need China, for goodness sake. Here's a bit of history for you. Mary's son. They said that he was the greatest fool in Christendom, and he was trying to get silk made and mulberry trees, but he got the wrong mulberry trees or whatever. He wasn't that daft. He wasn't that daft at all. And at least he gave us the Bible, okay? So, with that in mind, regardless of how come China happened to be without a one-person emperor at the top, right? Well, we'll not go into General Gordon in Afghanistan and all the drugs and everything. But we need them, because Mary de Guise, Mary's mother, she was rich and, wanted to bring over, and she did, and most of the fruits that we have and all of that. So I found out that all of the apples, etc., that are hardy, there's loads of them. Also, if you want a wee bit of land, there's a website, you just go on and you've got that. And there's also ethnic groups and things whereby, what do we do if we're now cosmopolitan? So what we're going to do if we've not got the right curries and spices and lentils? That was another thing, that during the bread strike and lentils, etc., and we started the fair trading So it's probably going to be Mr. MSP, that it is going to be world trade, but there's also the third world. And as far as the third world is concerned, they are being exploited. And the inks and the conglams, etc., that Amazon thinks he's great, and him and Branson are beaming up somewhere, etc. Meanwhile, back at their hands, they're all dying like flies. So they've actually managed to ruin all of the people where there's the forestry, etc., and the vegetables that they're growing, and the food that they're producing is for animals. Come on. Used to be the Coley dug, what did he get? Porridge. And he got the scraps, etc. So that handles a lot of problems on the farm. You don't have them coming with the wheelie bins, etc., to the farmyard. Anyway, I'm even making myself laugh. So as I say, all of that. So, we're in danger. Well, I'm in danger. Oh, no. No. As long as God's in his highest heaven, all's well with the world. So what I'm saying to you is, there's something in LinkedIn this morning, and it's a machine, and it's about picking up cigarette butts. So they're looking for money, and that's why they're all over the world. They're looking for land, and they're trying to limit, So, two birds with one stone. Well, maybe, who knows? But I know I can do anything with people who are smoking. The only problem is we need to figure out what the hair oil we're going to do with the tobacco. But they're spending a lot of money, so at least if they're going to be saving their money, some of them will maybe come up with an idea, and of course they're going to. Imagine me not even realising that they're not really allowed to think. That's it, Used to be in London, people forget how the Chinese embassy, they were running about with bloody machetes and the wee red books, Mao Zedong, and the police had to say to them, excuse me, but get back into your bloody embassy, you lot, So there was dangers everywhere with that. But then in the end, we've got this Bitcoin and, I suppose it looks a mess, but how could it be a mess, How could it be a mess when we were born Scots? They were howling in the kitchen like a caravan of Tinky's eye, and some were playing ping pong and tiddly widdly winkies were up the hill and down the hill. There was never such a biggin as McGinty's meal and ale for the piggy on the spree. As long as Robbie Shepherd is still alive, we're going to get there. We're going to make it. So I'm leaving you with that. And have a wee look at the video that I put in the Scottish Development. No, it's no Scottish Development. It's have a wee look at my website. It's Jean Keenan on LinkedIn, and I'm going to leave you with that. But I'm hoping to be able to be working with Fergus, and he's into tourism as well and agriculture and everything, and I'm getting things organised, because as soon as Nicola says it's okay, apart from anything else, I don't think I'm all that fit to be going away, but I suppose I would be able to get there, and I'm definitely going to be booking in up at Inverness, because I've got somebody else to see about my business side of things, because all of the information I've got is for the world. It has to be for the world. And anyway, and I'm going to be seeing Fergus as well, but I'm going to get everything prepared, and I had hoped that I could persuade Annabelle, but I think horses for courses, and you seem to be interested in stuff like that, And Alan. Oh, anyway. Toodaloo the new.